Hey there folks, and welcome to this video. And for the month of June, I decided that the Sunday portions of my daily video content known as Project TTT would be dedicated to talk about the LGBT plus community in relation to motorsports. And that is because I'm both a member of the LGBT plus community, but also because this channel is very much a kind of motorsportsy channel. So I thought it would be the best way to kind of use that platform during Pride Month. Now, this is the last Sunday of June. It's also the anniversary of the start of Stonewall riots. So I wanted to sit down for a few minutes and talk personally about what I think the next step should be to help the LGBT plus community in the arena of motorsports. And I think, firstly, I've got to thank you for your support on other videos. I mean, this channel has grown, and even in the past couple of days, it's seen a massive uptake in subscriber counts to the point where I'm past 350, which is amazing. But at the same time, I've seen on videos like this, and the one where I talk about F1's We Race This One initiative, which was released at the upper end of this week, just tons of homophobic comments. And I mean, homophobia isn't welcome on this page. I would have thought that people would have known that given the kind of videos I was doing. But I have to reaffirm that. Much like racism, sexism, homophobia, transphobia are not tolerated. And I think that's got to be the first step, is to challenge homophobia where we see it. I mean, we've been successful with that in the past. I mean, I remember Lewis Hamilton's slip up from a couple of years ago, his "you're wearing a dress" comment that he directed at his nephew. And he apologised for it and said he was going to be better. And he has been. That shows that change can be achieved and that we can move forward. That we can evolve as a community. As a motorsports community, we can be more welcoming of the LGBT plus community. And we can be more aware. It does take being active to be able to counter this. We have to be actively against homophobia. We have to be actively against transphobia. Much like we have to be actively against any kind of hatred of that sort. We have to be actively anti-racist. We have to be actively anti-sexist. That's probably the main thing right now, is just challenging it wherever we see. And asking the organisations that run the sports that we support, that we follow, show solidarity with the LGBT plus community. I mean, these organisations, in my opinion, need to do more anyway. If we're talking about the era of the woke brand, motorsports organisations and bodies are quite far behind. I mean, I haven't seen F1 tweeting in support of Pride Month, or really posting in support of it. I mean, they haven't even said things like Black Lives Matter. They're behind NASCAR on a lot of this stuff, which I think kind of says something about F1 and the way it has to bear in mind its kind of global audience. It doesn't want to annoy a lot of the events organisers that will pay bigger bucks for everyone to race there. I do get a bit annoyed when I see, say, the rainbow flag, especially when it's in the colour scheme of the Progress Pride flag, which is supposed to symbolise injustices against people of colour and injustice against the trans community. And it's supposed to be in solidarity with them as well as the wider LGBT plus community. It's a shame to see that on the car and then not go, hey, happy Pride Month. but one step at a time. And I think that's where we are right now. I'd like to say down the line that we'd be like, are we ready for an LGBT plus F1 driver? And I mean, the answer is yes. It's always going to be yes. The problem is you're going to see homophobia, and then you've got to tackle it wherever you see it. But luckily, we've got progressive racing series like the W Series, which, well, is always a happy Pride Month. It's got a lot of LGBT plus competitors, which is excellent. I think at the same time, you've got to actively support these athletes. So people like Abby Eaton or Charlie Martin. And at the same time, we've got to make sure that it's not just for Pride Month. I mean, I've said that I'm dedicating Sundays in June for it. I'm not going to just stop making LGBT plus themed content in regards to motorsport, because I feel like that would be a bit of a problem. Granted, I'm not going to be making them so frequent now, but as and when somewhere comes up that I feel like I can use that to talk about the LGBT plus community in relation to motorsport, I'm going to do it. Because I've got this platform here. I've got an excellent platform to be able to use for that. So if you're asking me, do I think that we should have initiatives to get more LGBT plus people as motorsport athletes? I'd like to say yes. But at the same time, we've got to be understanding of the wider situation around motorsports and the fact that it is still quite socially regressive. We need to have more initiatives to help poorer people get into motorsport. We need to have the idea that motorsport isn't just for men. We need to also make sure that motorsport's more ethnically diverse, both in terms of nationality and also within nationalities. And I think that's a lot of the stuff that we have to deal with right now. I wouldn't say we should have this initiative for more F1 drivers that are LGBT plus before we have more initiatives to, say, getting women into F1 or getting people from, say, black backgrounds to F1. Or getting people who generally don't have the money, which will be people from disadvantaged groups, into F1. And I think the thing is we've got to be more explicitly supportive. Like, as much as it's important to make sure that there is some kind of just support out there, even if it's implicit. So I do admit that some good is done by F1's We Race It's One initiative. More needs to be done. And we need to hold the organisations and the bodies to account. But really, the main thing is to continue to fight those kinds of bigotry, like homophobia and transphobia, wherever we see it. If we see it from the sport organisers, the organisers themselves. If we see it from the athletes. If we see it from members of teams, members of the press, we've got to call it out wherever we see it. Because gay rights are human rights, trans rights are human rights. Got to call out when Viktor Orban and his government in Hungary are looking to repeal any kind of legal protections for LGBT plus individuals. We've got to call out Russia. Got to call out countries in the Middle East. Got to do that, because otherwise are we saying that we can sell out our morals and our values to go race at another Tilkadrone? Thank you so much for watching, thank you so much for joining, thank you so much for your support, thank you for helping me get past 350 subscribers. That was awesome. And all I can say now is, Bye-bye. For now.